Hey everyone, welcome to another tutorial. As promised, I was gonna do a tutorial on layer mask. Layer mask is basically used to control the layer's transparency. It's used to hide or reveal portions of an image. You've probably seen a layer mask before and didn't know it until this point. Using a layer mask gives you a lot more control over your images, whereas if you add a layer to another image or a background image, you just delete the pixels from that image. Whereas if you add a layer mask, you're just painting over that layer with either black or white, subtracting or adding to it. You've probably seen images that are black and white and has a pop of color, be it red, green, blue, or whatever the case may be. That is a type of layer masking done in Photoshop. That type of masking, although it looks a little technical, is pretty much easy once you know how to do it. Alright, so this image in front of you is basically an image I've been working on. It's great. I've retouched the skin and I did a layer mask on this and a few more adjustments on it. However, I just don't feel like I'm ready yet. There's something else that I need to tweak with it. I call it being a perfectionist. I just like to keep my images and kind of like work on them a little bit more. As you can see, there's a nice little background of sun setting, little hills, a little light going on here, some text over it. It looks pretty good, it looks pretty standard, it looks pretty clean. But if you notice here in my panel, in my layers panel, you have a black and white layer, an M filter, and a B filter. Those are filters that I use to kind of add depth to the image. A text group, and work layers. Work layers is basically where the bread and butter is, where everything comes alive. As you can see, this is the image before filtering, before anything. This is its original image. Now, through layer masking and retouching and editing and high pass and everything else, this is what the image has become. As you can see, the background is photoshopped in. This is added in by basically layer mask. Then you have the text layers, of course. Then you have the filtering, another filter over top of that, and then a little bit of a black and white layer. So as you can see, layer mask is pretty important in Photoshop. If you look right here, this is my work layers, my work group. This layer is probably hidden underneath, but under here where the frequency layer is where basically some of the skin work and everything else was done. So this is the before, this is the after with all the filters applied. Alright, so right here we have an image. It's one of my favorite images. I love it because she's wearing a beautiful blue. I think the color just looks amazing. So I think it would even look even more amazing on a black and white, and in the color be a pop of blue. So like I said, I never work on a background layer. I like to duplicate my layers and work on the background copy layer. That way I can see how far I've come, how many changes I've made, and see how far I'm going, so I don't go overboard. So you just go ahead and drag and drop your background image onto this new layer icon to give you a new background. Right here, this is your layer mask icon. It is the box or square with like a hole cut out. You click on it, it's going to give you a thumbnail right beside your image. It's a blank thumbnail, it's white. It doesn't affect the image because even if you remove the visibility of a layer, you still don't see that white box. It's just like an invisible box above your image. Now, if your thumbnail is white, then you have to use your paintbrush in black in order for it to show. If your thumbnail is black, you have to use your paintbrush in white in order for it to show. Now, since this thumbnail is in white, I'm going to paint with black. Okay, and if I just leave, I'm going to leave the bottom layer on for you just to see what happens. So with my mouse selected over the white thumbnail, I'm going to use my paintbrush and start painting in black. Alright, see, I'm painting here. Nothing is happening at all. But if you remove the layer underneath it, the background layer, you'll see that something did happen. I'm removing bits of the blue from the image. Now, I usually like to do this part with the background image removed to see how far I'm going up overboard, or where, like, I'm getting too close to the skin or too close to one area. I'm just going to go ahead and mask out everything here. Alright, there you go. So for the most part, everything that I want to mask out is already gone. Now let's say, what if I accidentally mask out too much and mask our arm? That's what's so amazing about the layer mask, that you could just go back and edit that and correct that. So you can see the image looks pretty crazy, but this is just the way the process goes. It looks a little, but don't worry. So you're going to turn back on your background layer, then you're going to select your image layer that's beside your layer mask thumbnail. So you're going to select the image right beside the thumbnail. You're going to go up to image, you're going to do adjustments, hue saturations, and then you're going to turn your saturation level down to -100. And as you can see already, your image is taking shape. Now, like I said before, I purposely went overboard on her arm just to show you how to correct it. So that's the great thing about layer mask. You could go back in and you can edit and change. Now, to get this section that you accidentally masked out to fall back into the black and white field, you go ahead and select the layer mask thumbnail. And like I said before, you're going to just go ahead and change this to white, and you're going to erase that mistake. So on this layer, since the layer on its own, it's white, and the changes, the blue area, it's black on this thumbnail. So in order to put back the black and white field, I'd have to use white to paint back the white canvas that was taken out, like so. So right here you can see that little edges needed to be filled in. What I'm going to do is select my black paint and just fill it in. Again, you can see I went a little far over the neck here. I'm just going to fill that back out with a harder brush, smaller, and just remove that. Just like that. And there you go. Once you remove the top background layer mask layer, you'll see that the image below it is the one that's showing, which is the colored image. But on top you have a mask, so you mask out the colored and just left the blue. So now the colored section becomes black and white, and the blue section right here in the thumbnail that you masked out remains the same color. Now, since this is masked out, you could do so much more with this. You could add a layer adjustment, change the color of the gown. You could do a lot more with this. You could play with it more. It's pretty straightforward. I told you it's nothing too difficult. It looks difficult, but it's not. Once you play with this and learn how to do it off bat without like thinking about it, you'll be fine. This is the before, this is the after, and you can see how much depth and how cool it looks. I might actually keep this. This looks very pretty. And that's it. That's a layer mask for you. Like I said, it's just a great way of, you know, adding color, selecting certain things, removing certain things, or adding certain things to an image. It's very great and useful for those who like to do manipulations or add certain objects into a photo to create more depth, more fantasy looks. It's a great way to just, you know, upgrade your pictures, even if you just want to add a little color here and black and white there and play with different filtering. I hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe on my page, Facebook, Shernet Editorial, Instagram, same thing, Shernet Editorial. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, concerns, or suggestions for videos, go ahead and leave them in a comment below. Thank you. Later.